welcome back to Downtime Activities, and welcome back to the Curian Empire, our D&D 5e Epic 6 campaign, with built upon the foundations, like many things, of the ancient Mediterranean. Some people, part of this playgroup, are seeking hard to burn it down to those foundations.
Who is that? You?
Well, it rotates.
It depends.
Yeah.
In the last episode, you guys managed to liberate a besieged city after much maneuvering, much espionage and sabotage.
And one brutal murder.
And, at the end, a little bit of assassination.
Well, assassination and then maneuvering and...
Also, you make it
I
sound
wouldn't
like it was
call it-
strategic.
Yeah,
and
I wouldn't
not
call it
just-
what we did after the murder maneuvering. I would call it running for our lives.
surviving
yeah.
as best we can.
So, the 4th Legion has either scattered or surrendered, along with the Kenra who were fighting with them. And the Tabaxi are sort of just taking the spoils of the camp.
We do try and circulate.
Right.
Do not touch the food.
They don't have much food anyway.
Don't touch that wagon of food.
And the Tabaxi are in rough shape. This siege has been going on for, at this point, over a year. They definitely look hungry. They're still strong enough to fight, and they are maintaining order remarkably well. But it seems like the city being open is a big deal, and both like the soldiers defending here and the townsfolk, even just over the course of that night, are like taking as much advantage of it as they can, burning a lot of Curian equipment, and just like taking everything that they want and everything that's not, to some degree, everything that's not nailed down. You guys will be brought into the city. It's in rough shape. It's been badly damaged by fire. Kind of like all sections of the city have clearly been bombarded at one point or another.
Whistle for the horses, that way they're near us.
Yeah, you can go get your horses. You'll be... They don't really have any food or drink to offer, but you guys will be sort of taken up to the fortress and at least given a place to rest.
I'll say for the sake of this that the jug's filled with like water.
You'll help with water.
Yeah.
And they do seem to have wells. That's really all they can offer is water. But they don't really have any food.
I mean, we have some rations.
We have some, but like...
not much. And we're not going to share. We don't have enough to feed a city, but we can. The city.
We
can
could
start
go.
feeding
We could go
itself
to the nearest town and let them know that.
I mean, getting supplies here will be hard because we've torched every bridge leading here.
Yeah.
Well, you
but
torched the bridge over the river leading into.
I'm pretty sure I'm pretty sure
That's
we're
true.
close to a town.
And it's also like the paths we've been obstructing are the ones from Curian controlled land to here, not the ones the other direction towards their controlled land. So they'll be able to start getting
And
supplies here.
they seem to be like sending out riders. Like they're sort of putting together what meager supplies they can for couriers and scouts, and sending out riders on like freshly captured horses, sort of as quickly as they can.
I mean, if we are brought before any sort of general or anything, we can offer to maybe be the report for. I mean, they'll probably send their own as well, but like we can head back to the capital, and make sure they're aware.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think we're going to hang here much longer.
No, we've liberated.
Do we get a successful night's sleep?
You can absolutely have a successful night.
Thank God.
That is the only thing they can offer you, really. Is a
Water
safe
and
place.
a safe place to sleep.
I'll take it.
Yeah, if we come back to this town, remember us for a place to sleep.
The general who was in charge of the siege is General Camby's Fati.
Okay.
And he's pretty much like, we don't have anything to offer, but when this war is over, come back and we'll throw a big party. You've helped save this city. The other person you'll be introduced to is a member of the ever-growing Tastar family, whose name is Parvez, and he'll essentially tell you that to just tell Jalal everything, everything you were involved with, the death of the general. He'll give you a satchel full of documents with numbers and troop counts and stuff like that, and reports that they just couldn't send, as well as sort of putting in the request to have more members of the Golden Claws active in the area as much as possible, if Jalal can spare them.
Okay. We'll take this absolutely. I don't know.
Probably give them fair warning about the tunnels.
Yeah, no, there are. I mean, I'm sure they'll find them and seal them.
Mm-hmm.
I guess let's head back.
Let's head back to the capital.
Okay.
Next morning. No
Next
rest
morning.
for the wicked.
It's gonna once again be a couple of weeks back. Of just
I
steady
almost
travel.
died. I can't believe it. Thank you so much for saving me.
So scared. Look, we're well into second level now. I'm a little beyond the I got stabbed. Jesus Christ, I got stabbed, but at the same time, that was a pretty near-death experience.
Oh, Jesus Christ, I got stabbed.
Tersius is a little shaken after that. He tries to play the big badass hero sometimes, but near death running through the camp, he's a little shaken, absolutely.
That's fair. It was fun.
So
How fast do you guys travel back?
I think, as
Not leisurely,
with
but
haste.
not sprint.
With haste,
Yeah,
because
with
the sooner
haste.
he gets this information, the better.
yeah.
Okay.
So we're traveling pretty quickly.
You can arrive back to the city. That's where
Okay.
you left it. It's still got the same flags flying over it.
All right, that's a good sign.
Yeah.
If we came back and it was
The
under
col-
siege, I
the
might have just
color-
walked away from this whole war.
The color of its name has not changed on the map.
Okay, good. Glad to hear that.
Yeah.
Are all the villages around torched with 9 horses lined up around them?
No, you guys have not forced the rest of the world to declare world peace, just to all
Just to
come
go
and hunt you
burn
down.
your village to the ground.
Um,
Head straight into the city and straight to Jalal's office.
Okay.
Let's get him these documents. Give him a report.
he's happy to see you.
Feel official.
Mm-hmm.
Feel different.
Ryder came in just a day or so before you did. It seems like you did good work.
We
We did something.
stopped a lot of supplies. We assassinated the enemy general, and narrowly made it to the walls in time to give the Tabaxi the war cry.
Well, I'm honestly impressed you managed to kill him.
Us too.
Surprised we made it out of it. I got some new scars to show for it, but we made it out alive.
First off, you'll all get paid 500 gold for being big damn heroes.
Now do you have enough to get that armor?
I technically still don't. I am... One moment. 34 gold, 2 silver, and 1 copper short.
I'll give you that, but you'll be forever indebted to me.
We can do another job. Plus, I don't really want it to be Tabaxi make when I have that crafted.
Three of you have certainly changed the course of this war in our favor. Which brings me to the next point, which is something that you at least may not want to hear. Due to the fact that the siege of Verona has been broken, the 4th Legion has been removed from the map, and some of the political leanings, shall we say, of some of the other generals in the field I strongly suspect that this war is about to come to an end. The Curians took 2 cities, well, nearly 2 whole provinces from us at the beginning of the war, and they've now lost a lot of troops, a respected general, and now a whole legion, as well as 3,000 Kenra soldiers. I expect they'll sue for peace, and I expect we'll take it. I know you at least have a bone to pick with the Empire. But some of the other Curian generals that are in the field are not stupid. They'll understand that this war has shifted away from them, and whether the Emperor likes it or not, I think they're going to end it.
That's a good sign, but
While I feel like I'm always looking for a good excuse to kick a proud mouth in the teeth, this is a positive resolution. And if I can't see my own country freed, I would at the very least see another one freed for some time. And if this division severs more than just continues to drive a wedge more between political leanings and vies for power and all the imperial things, destabilization of the empire is nothing but positive in my eyes.
There's at least one general out here that I strongly believe may have her eyes on the throne. And I suspect that for a while the only thing keeping her on the leash was the war. Couldn't turn her back to one enemy in order to raid another. I don't know how quickly it will happen, but I assume with the end of this war that she might go seeking a new enemy now. And whether or not she'll march on the capital, I can't say, but I'd expect she'd have her eyes turned that direction. So those divisions may well deepen. Though, of course, most of those legions some will continue to be stationed here, I'm sure, just to keep us from taking back the cities that we lost. But I expect some of those legions will be sent to the north.
To far north?
There are at least as many legions deployed fighting the barbarians north of the Curian Empire as there are here. I expect that's where many of these soldiers will be sent, sooner or later. And so, I suppose my point in telling you all this is that I'm not going to have much work for you. You're, of course, welcome here in the city. You've done a lot of good work for us. But if you wish to seek other adventures, especially with what will probably be an open border soon, this is a good opportunity to do so.
Oh, Battle of Helm's Deep.
That's a good thing. I mean, we did a different sort of siege. I think a new adventure awaits, but to be honest, I think I myself, at the very least, would like to find a bit more direction.
funny enough, me too.
And while I don't know from our previous conversations whether one god is the same as another god, or if they've all got different mountains that they live on.
Funnily enough, never solved that theological debate.
Never quite, never quite.
We're not the int guys.
But I do...
Tree. I am no tree.
I do know of an individual and a place in my homeland that people seeking the will of the gods can go to ask for it. Guidance can be found there. The path is rumored to be treacherous. I've done a marathon near it, but never gone to the place myself. But there is a sort of oracle that is rumored to live there, lives there, by my understanding, that perhaps could help give that direction.
I'm always interested in that. Clarification on what to do with my life. It's never been something I've been akin to.
I feel like thus far I've got a bone to pick with the Empire. Who doesn't? But I don't want to drag you further across the world for my spite's sake.
Look at me. I'm as far away from my homeland as I could be. I really don't have a choice.
Part of me feels like I don't belong here anyways. So if I can do something somewhere else, maybe that's what I'm meant to do.
Maybe all of us could find some direction there.
As far as your brother is concerned, I have no news. Wherever his legion is deployed, it's not nearby. But I can tell you that your parents are no longer in prison. They've been moved into exile on an island. It's hardly grand living, but they're
Better than a
have
cell.
enough. They have the run of the island, but they're not allowed to leave. That's all I've heard.
And I imagine there's some amount of effort to stop others from visiting this island.
I would assume. How seriously they take it is another matter.
Well, Jalal, I will make it my mission for some time to make them take that threat very seriously.
I'm sure you will. Just as long as we're at peace, try and leave my name out of it. I'll have my hands full with the regular backstabbing of politics. I don't need the extra backstabbing on top of it.
Pick up your pieces. Make sure that your country is strong and ready, because whether by Iaran hands or more likely by Curian hands, I think this whole thing is going to be toppling before too long.
Another war will come. The Empire always finds another one. I expect sooner or later they'll find another one with us. A few years of peace to try and set our board the way we want it is not a bad thing.
And no, I guess that should you be able to reach us, we're, at least I, am happy to help again when
Well,
the time comes.
Should a free IARA or a free faction within IARA pop up, I'm sure at least one empire could be convinced to recognize the legitimacy of such a faction. You've done a lot of good work, the three of you. You're definitely the strangest agents I've had. But I can't deny that you've been effective.
Strange indeed. Effective, I'll say.
Yeah. Been called worse before.
Well, I think it's time to go home. Or at least, back to my country. We should probably stay clear of Venus. Might get recognized in that city. Because all the statues of me there. There are no statues of me there. Not a big deal there.
Walks into the city, flexes, camera pans up to a statue doing the exact same pose.
That's the end game. That's the goal.
I knew that guy was familiar for some reason.
It's just the genetics. Everyone.
That's actually my great granddad in the statue, but
Well, it's the bit in Airplane where like that other air traffic control like starts finding out that something's wrong, and the guy's just like giving all those orders and puts a cigarette in and just leans on the desk and glares, and right behind him is a picture of him doing the exact same pose and face.
Pick the bad day to quit drinking.
bad day to quit sniffing glue. All right, yeah, I think time to gather all our belongings. I'm gonna have a heavy pack to haul this lion statue. It's going in the pack though. I'm not leaving it behind.
Mind getting him a carriage for his Damn light statue.
Right?
We're going to get on a boat eventually, but I have
Yeah,
a heavy
yes.
rucksack over my
So you
back.
guys remember that you are a little bit off the east edge of the map that I sent.
Mm-hmm.
If you're trying to get to the Oracle, quite often referred to the Oracle at Canis, even though she's like... Actually, it's not specifically the Oracle at Canis. It's the Oracle at Dione, which is just north of Canis in the mountains.
Oh. Canis, of course, being the city closest to Themis. It's fine.
The
Those mountains will be
closest,
fine.
the closest major city. They were both independent city-states at one time. Think of it like Athens and Sparta. Downey is in the mountains north of Canis, a day or two, partially just because of the terrain.
Ooh, you know what? Before we have left, Joel, I have a question. Did any of those documents mention the war going on in my homeland?
It's all about the war here. I expect that if your people had been conquered, we would have heard about it.
Your homeland is at Keltarn,
Yeah.
right?
And I expect that if your people had managed to push the Curians out, we'd have heard about it. So I assume for the moment,
Still the
it's
stalemate.
still just a stalemate. Trust me, stalemates have a strange way of breaking quite quickly.
Yeah, especially if
One precision move. That's all it takes.
one precision move. Yeah.
So as far as getting to Dione, you can go by land. It will be much longer.
Let's take a boat. Let's please.
Or you can get back to the coast, which will be about 3 weeks,
Okay.
maybe 4. And you can take a boat to the coast of Iara and travel by land from there, if that's what you would prefer.
Yeah, that's
Yeah, I think we take a boat across and just we land in. I've forgotten the name of it. The city closest to it.
Yeah. You'd be landing at like a coastal port. You'd probably be traveling through Canis, but Canis is like a landlocked
Kind
city.
of like a southern, the southern edge of that
Mm.
part of the peninsula thing there.
I'm just gonna roll a D100 to see what the weather's like for you guys sailing, because you can, especially at this
Crack and
point, like
Crack and
more or less. Yeah. On your guys' travel back by land is gonna take you close to 4 weeks. Partially because once you hit the big river, you have to divert fairly far south in order
Some
to get
asshole
around.
toppled
Some
the bridge.
assholes destroyed 2 bridges and just like really put a crimp in international trade. You will see, at least through sections, a lot, or like a reasonable number of scattered Curian soldiers who seem to be causing chaos in the countryside, because everybody knows that soldiers without leaders just turn into bandits.
Take
You
care
will,
of them easily.
you will, at sort of the midpoint of that journey, start hearing news in a lot of the villages that you pass through that it seems like the Curians are, like, word is spreading that the Curians are trying to sue for peace and, like, end this war because they've realized they're on the back foot, as well as news that, even though, like, the war's not quite over yet, the Tabaxi armies in the field have gotten a substantial morale boost from the destruction of a Curian legion and are like making substantial efforts to break the stalemate in their favor. Anyway, you'll be able to make it to the coast without incident. Nobody is going to pick on the 3 of you. No bandits at this point are really that stupid, but especially small groups of bandits.
I'm not. I think we're riding, not trying to hide.
I have no reason.
I probably have like wraps over my head to kind of cover from the sun, but it's clearly like
Now
armor,
I'm going to be the one
shield,
that stands out.
sword. Yeah.
No,
You both-
we're both gonna stand out.
That's actually...
Everywhere you go, some number of you are going to stand out.
You
very
guys-
badly.
We literally like he gave us a map and we picked top corner, middle, bottom corner. We will not find a spot where one of us doesn't stick out.
No, everywhere I go, I'm gonna stick out because what the fuck is a dwarf doing?
Unless we go to your homeland.
Yeah,
Then
let's
both
go.
of us will stick out.
Yeah.
You guys can't win. At coast, you guys are able to charter a boat
Aren't you a little
between.
short for a Curian soldier?
Watch your tone, boy.
between you guys and presumably your horses, is it 3 horses or 4 horses? What are you doing with the extra horse you stole?
I don't.
3. I thought we released.
I never.
Go home, boy. Can't see we don't want you no more.
Get out of here, you big dumb animal.
Okay, I did remember which was which and rode my horse back, leaving the Curian behind.
It was a 50-50 shot.
I just had to not roll terrible.
So it's going to be 15 gold.
Okay.
For you guys and your horses for a journey back to IR.
Well, that was surprisingly decent for my math.
But damn it, I mean,
I didn't do it.
15 and a half and a third.
You
I mean-
son of a bitch.
That doesn't make my math worse. The silver and the copper. My silver and copper are pretty random numbers.
And yeah, you can land at Guyara. It's from where you guys have left. This is a quite different place. It is this whole countryside is extremely rocky, but it is not quite. It's fairly arid, but not quite as desert-like as the area you guys have been in. This whole section of the ocean has just been like beautiful. This like sort of 2-week or week and a half journey by boat to get here is like I guess, have you had good weather? The weather's been shit. It's been beautiful, but the weather has been shit. Not to the point that not to the point that you've crashed, but it is at best overcast and rainy most of the time, and at worst you're dealing with pretty bad storms.
Anytime, especially when storms kick up, probably right on the edge of being annoying, I chip in and help on the boat as much as I possibly
I
can.
am a land creature.
I
They-
am loving it.
They appreciate it during the storms. A little less so when the weather's just bad, but during the storms they appreciate having an extra set of skills.
I'm not helping. I'm just staying underneath.
It's gonna be
puking.
mild. It's gonna be mild.
Well, hang on. How does Wolf?
Con save?
Yeah, con save. Yeah, he's feeling like shit.
He gets seasick.
It's so for you it feels much longer than like the week and a half, 2 weeks.
My healing word is not doing anything. Healing word.
I'm doing fucking fantastic, even though surprisingly I'm a desert creature.
I was born on the waves. I love it.
So yeah, crossing this section of the Heroes Sea is rough for some, less rough for others. But the weather does clear up as you guys approach IR. It is a very mountainous country. You know from like old legends, it's very much supposed to be this country of wine and demigods. And
Did you grab your
ancient cities.
fancy wine?
Yeah, I brought the cask with me. I brought the cask and the oils.
Okay.
Funnies.
Very good chance the only person using your guys' apartment right now is Kihan. Probably isn't even sober enough to notice you're
By
gone.
throwing the party. Oh, I didn't say bye to Kihan.
We didn't say bye to Kihan or
Or Lilith.
Lilith.
I don't really care about saying goodbye to her. Kihan, though. Kihan's a boy. He's one of the boys.
If we don't die, we can bring him stuff.
He won't realize we've been gone the whole time.
I don't think he'd be like, you been gone?
He's gonna be like double his age by the time we get back. Like, hey, what's up?
And the port that you guys will arrive at it's right on the edge of sort of being a city. It's probably more accurate to call it a town, but it has a bustling port, a lot of fishing vessels, and it's not hard from here to sort of head up a valley to get to sort of. It's still very rocky. It's still very mountainous, but you can get sort of up to what's almost a plateau, and it'll be a couple of days inland to the city of Canis, which you would know is a like big walled city. Once famous once for being the home of great warriors, still supposedly the home of great warriors, though of course now they're Curian citizens.
How many odd looks are we getting? Is the question.
I mean, Kinra wouldn't be too crazy. Like, they're right across the sea.
Okay, how many
you
odd
get
looks
weird
am
looks,
I
probably.
getting?
You probably get weird looks. I fit right in. It's worth saying, before we landed, I do say, like, not that I expect either of you necessarily remember it, don't use my last name anywhere in Iara. I'm just Tersius.
What's your last name?
Don't
What's
worry.
the other?
Perfect. You're all you dogs, you deceptive silver-tongued devils. They're already on the case.
I was being serious.
Yeah,
I don't know his last
to
name.
be completely honest, I didn't know he had a last name.
I thought his name was just Tersius.
I'm not kidding. What is your last name?
No, I don't say it to him. I just lean over to the Kenran. Yeah, did you know he had a last name?
No, because every time he just says, I'm Tersius. That's all I
I
get.
assumed his last name was. The elves just have weird last names.
Doesn't sound Yaran to me, but then again, I'm from far away.
Oh, we're traveling with, Tersius hoo-ha-hoo.
Not our last name.
He'll be known by reputation, not by last name.
That was very funny.
That was good. That was
I
very
thought
good.
his last name was
That was very funny.
because it was just so dry and bland. Like, there was no effort.
That's my favorite thing about Brandon humor. It's why the coming through hot plate
Yeah.
it still is so funny to me. Like as you walk by with a plank of wood on fire, it's like
That was a fun time.
coming through hot plate was just like it's the you have a capacity to just do stuff in such a dry way that I just love so
Beautiful.
Careful.
Perfect.
This plate is hot.
much.
All right. Well,
So you guys are anything you want to buy or look up now?
Can
that
I-
you're in a strange new land for some of you?
can I?
A familiar old
Is there
homeland?
better armor I can get, or can I upgrade my leather armor?
You're in
You
leather.
could get.
We could get you. No, you're in studded leather. We bought you studded leather.
Yeah.
That's the best light armor you can wear.
Yeah.
Clerics can get up to medium, can't they?
I think so.
By default, clerics can.
Yeah, medium armor.
Yeah, you can. You've
mean-
got plenty of options for medium armor.
Shit, we could get you up to half plate if you don't care about being sneaky. Although that would have to get custom fitted, and we'd have to wait for it to get crafted.
You said they get heavy armor?
Medium.
Yeah, I mean, you Tersius would You may not have ever stopped in this village, but you've probably at least passed by. You know these coasts pretty well.
I mean, if we're willing to spend a little bit of time in the city and have some armor crafted, now might not be a bad time to do so.
You can also have stuff
Started.
yeah, and then go off on your adventures and come back. Yep.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea.
So studded's 12 plus my dex modifier.
Well, the thing is, you can only go up to a +2 from your dex modifier for medium armor, so you wouldn't get the full +3 from your dex modifier. But half plate, I think is.
But a
14,
higher
15,
tier medium
15.
armor will.
So that would make your AC 17
Yeah.
+2 your AC.
I could also go. I mean, even if it's just 1 point, I'm fine.
You should have a couple of different
Disadvantage
options.
Yeah, that's what I was.
You could do the breastplate.
Yeah, I was
instead.
thinking I could do the breastplate and just go up 1 extra.
Yeah.
And just be
AC,
+1 AC.
and then I don't have that disadvantage to stealth.
I would
That's
look at
still an
armor and go, nope,
Too restricting.
can't do that.
I prefer to fight in the nude.
Actually, I think
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead. And
Yeah, I
do
get- I
that.
get-
I'm gonna get a
it's just not
breastplate.
worth it.
So,
Well, is that something that has to get custom fitted too? A breastplate for a dwarf and Iara?
Yeah, probably, but it's not. It wouldn't take near as long.
Okay. Because if anyone's willing to give me a small loan of 50 gold,
Yes.
I
take
will
it.
be broke after this. But I think I'd like to try and track down I want to try and find a traditional. What is this city called?
The city that you're nearby to.
Yeah. Because if anyone knows how to make good armor,
Canis.
it would be Canaans. Canaans?
Canaans might be right.
Canaans?
Just take 350. It doesn't really make my math easy, but it gives you something to spend if you need
Wow.
money.
Very generous of you, it seems. God damn.
He's
I have nothing to spend
the
money on.
man's rich.
Man is rich. I am going from rich to broke to not broke because he's giving me 350. I want to try and find a traditional Canaan armor smith in town and have him. I want a crafted full set of like traditional
There
Ioran
is
armor.
there is not one in this town.
I mean, once we get to the city,
Okay.
I want to do it in the city since we're going to
I'm
pass
just
through
gonna,
that city.
yeah. I just get the breastplate.
I forgot. I have a pimp cup and 2
Okay.
rings that I find
You
we
can
need
get
to
the
sell.
breastplate across.
There you go.
Yeah, and you guys can. If you guys want to wait here in town for a couple of days, they can get the breastplate fitting to the dwarf.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's a little tight across the chest. that joke would be much better if you just gone for the
Chainmail.
The chainmail.
Yeah. But the breastplate will bring you up to 16 AC. Which is solid.
That anymore. Like stealth isn't that big of a deal, but I have a feeling stealth's going to be another thing we're going to run into.
Well, the nice thing is having full plate, I can essentially take most of my full plate off and be in my breastplate and just drop my AC 2 points, which is not, just drop my AC 2 points. That's nothing. My AC will still be solid, though.
So 16, I'll take it.
Can I buy a few bags of ball bearings?
Sure.
It's all ball bearings these days.
I'm gonna.
Ball bearings, I
Well,
very know.
Jesus, there's 1,000 of these in the
Ball
bag.
bearings, I hardly know bearings.
Yeah, I'm gonna buy 4 bags. Off of this okay, or is the price too much?
You, blacksmith. Get me. Can you fit me with a breastplate?
Yeah, it'll just be at cost. You guys can wait around a couple days.
Okay.
It's essentially like it's pretty much just like measurements, a couple days of work, a test fitting, some adjustments, and then you're good to go.
It's a bit tight around the chest.
I'd probably spend the days of that. If I can find someone who will let me, I'd like to try and find any sort of like, this is a coastal town, so I assume there's like shipwright or like repair kind of areas. I'd want to just spend a couple days trying to offer my services to just be an extra set of hands to help maintenance and repair on ships.
Yeah.
Twofold. One, because I miss it as a person. Like, just being around boats makes me feel good. And so being around that again. And then I also, like, I'm trying to start... I have some knowledge in, like, repairing ships and stuff like that, but, like, the craftsmanship of carving against the wood and, like, bowing that out, I want to start trying to pick up.
You will make 2 gold.
Oh, wow.
For
They'll
2
pay me.
days.
Nice.
You could use an extra set of hands.
Cool.
You need strong hands in particular.
We are
I
already
wish
at the
those
point.
strong hands would stop going hoo-ha-hoo. So
I assume we're never going to get platinum pieces. I'm going to make my platinum pieces my gold pieces because I've already, like, burned to where it's incomprehensible.
Good. Money going in, money going out.
I'm just gonna do a little bit of research that I can about like religion
Okay.
in this area, or I guess towards in this continent.
Okay. You can essentially find copies of the Elven versions of the Iliad and the Odyssey.
Okay.
And like similar just stories and myths of the Greek gods.
Interesting.
And you will find plenty of reference to what he's sort of talking about, this this priestess of Apollo at Dione. This like famous oracle who's supposed to have like given advice to ancient heroes and kings, and like as well as like given advice that was quite often ignored. Whether it's like a triumphant story, it's like them following advice, or a tragic story of them ignoring her advice. She will pop up from time to time.
I will offer my services to. I'll be a helpful hand. I'll offer my services to like a church of healing.
Okay.
To help the sick and whatever.
Okay. They think you're weird, but they're impressed by your like just actual magic. And they appreciate the help.
I'll also drop off go to like the nearest bar, just like here's some ale, homebrew, and I just leave it there and walk away.
Okay.
Like they'll have no idea what to do with it. Just be like,
they certainly don't seem to have any idea what to do with it.
I'm also going to spend at least a considerable amount of time each day, not necessarily in prayer, but like in comparison between religion.
Roll me a religion check in your grand study of religion.
Oh, that was a good way to do that. 21.
21. Nice. So during this kind of study and this like, do you speak Iron? Is that one of the languages?
Elvish.
Yes.
Elvish.
Yes.
Okay. Perfect. So during like this like study and sort of this archive and like sort of working with this temple and speaking with some of the priests and stuff. One of these sort of 2 days that you're like sort of in there studying by yourself, you feel sort of pulled to a back shelf in sort of this archive, where you will find what appears to be it's a set of scrolls that appear to be in the Tiefin Book of the Dead.
Interesting.
Just because I haven't done it, and I'm assuming Wolf at this point just hasn't done it for a while. You'll go like, is there like a wilderness? Is there like wood forest or like woodland area?
Yeah, it'd be a few miles out of town, but you could get to sort of groves and.
I'm gonna go to like a grove and just kind of. I'm just gonna go and just kind of sit and, I guess, pray to my life and death God.
Okay.
Who gives me my power. Just be like, hey God, what's up? Haven't talked to you in a while.
Hey God, what's up? It's me.
Your boy.
You get the impression that he's happy to hear from you. That he doesn't that you're not like taking your duties quite as seriously as you should, but that you are like the path that you are walking is ultimately impactful or like meaningful to the world, whether that's for good or bad.
Okay.
Be a better priest, but keep doing what you do.
Keep doing what you do. See, I can't do that.
Brandon, what are your warlock?
What are your
invocations?
warlock eyes see?
What are your warlock eyes see? That actually is kind of the question I'm asking. What invocations do you have, or the Eldritch invocations or whatever do you have?
None.
Oh yeah, you're not high enough level yet.
You do this a second.
Good point.
For
More
future
plans?
reference, the ones I was planning, well, I don't exactly know how I want to do the class split, but I was debating on whether or not to stick with Sorcerer and use my inevitable feat, if I'm not dead by then, to take the Advanced Dark Vision one. Because there's some
So
cool
you can actually
shenanigans.
see in the dark.
That and so much of the Sorcerer spells work well with it.
Yeah, this seems to be a Natifan Book of the Dead. It seems you've seen a lot of these, especially being sort of a priest of Anubis. These ones seem different, very old.
This is just like the public library.
It's hard. No, this is like a temple library. This is like attached to like one of the temples in this city that you're in.
Okay.
You don't know why they have a Natifan Book of the Dead. It's like it is tucked away on a back shelf. It's hard to tell what material they're made out of. It seems almost metallic.
Mm-hmm.
They're very the outside of them is nearly black, and they feel very, very old.
Interesting. I'm assuming they're not going to let me take this.
Shows up missing.
Is there anyone around this area, or is this just kind of generally open to people?
It's not generally open to people. Like one of the priests let you in, but he's not like hovering over your shoulder, but you could track him down if you want to talk to him.
Yeah, I'm just want to go ask him if he knows anything about this or where it came from.
He can tell they're Natifan. He's not really sure what they're doing there. So if they so it's sort of like as a fellow priest, if they have some sort of religious significance to you, you're welcome to take them. No one here is going to be able to read them.
Yeah, I'll I'll give you some gold in exchange for it. But yeah, I'll take these.
Yeah, they'll take gold as an offer. Cool. Throw up the temple treasure.
Brief aside, I bought 2 more javelins and like a large quiver to hold the javelins in, just so I can conveniently store 5 javelins on my person.
Also note, because I don't ever really use them, but I'm keeping them just in case. I have 2 daggers, spear, javelin, and my sword.
Jesus. I've got
all relatively light.
I've got the dagger across my back, sword on the hip, shield, and then over the shoulder, kind of across the back, I've got a big scabbard
Yeah, just know if you ever want to use my spear or my javelin as an extra, I have them.
Okay.
My sword might be a little more hesitant with that.
I have a dagger, and the axe is just kind of placed nice on the hip.
And beating stick.
I got my beating stick and my crossbows on the horse.
Brandon, you can add Anubis ritual scrolls to your inventory.
Time to go to that treasure section.
What these do,
Woohoo.
they are currently empty, but you can add up to 4 cleric ritual spells to these scrolls and cast them, since you are an Anubis warlock. If you add more than 4, you have to remove one. So you can swap out what they are, and they have to be a level, essentially a level of spell you can cast.
Okay.
Sweet. Cool. Just gives you access to cleric rituals. That's awesome.
Fantastic.
Then you cast them as a ritual when you cast them? Cool. Heck yeah, man. That's super sweet.
Yeah. I need to learn more about clerics.
Oh, it's fine. Now you just have 3 class lists spells to look
Oh,
through.
no. Not only that, they're all dramatically different. Alright.
And at least for low-level ones, you do have a cleric in the party who
Oh, that's
might
true.
be able to teach you some rituals.
No.
That's fine.
No.
Can I ask you a question? Bugger off. Okay.
Can I ask you a question about death and the god of it?
Back
Which one?
off.
Yeah.
Which one?
Ours. Mine
So
are-
after a couple days, I guess you guys are heading out, huh?
Mhm.
Yep.
Okay. The roads here are excellent, and this is not
They are incredible.
this is not the frontier of the Empire at all.
I used to smooth paths.
This has been part of the Empire for quite some time. And,
These roads existed before the Empire was even a kingdom. These are old roads.
I hate to say it, but I miss the sand.
It's
Marble.
Beautiful marbles.
Sets it on fire.
It's very safe. There are occasionally bandits or other ne'er-do-wells, but not many, and they don't seem all that interested in
Fighting the 3 of us.
In fighting the 3 of you. You will be passing lots of olive groves, almond groves, as well as vineyards.
Jesus, man.
And you can arrive at the city of Canis, which you guys have been in and around a bunch of cities near the front lines of war recently, cities that are actively being defended. This is a city with impressive defenses that obviously haven't been used in quite some time. There are very few sentries on guard. The gates are completely open. To all 3 of you, now that you've seen enough military defenses, are like, well, they could probably patch this, and this looks a little weak. But it's a pretty large, orderly city. There are temples here to the Iron gods. There, as well as occasional pieces of much more sort of Curian structure, forum and stuff like that.
Where's this oracle of yours?
Further up the mountains. But before we head there, I need to see a man about a shiny plate of metal.
Really thought you were going with the horse thing there.
Nope. I already have a horse. That one. You know, the one. I want to scour the city for the most traditional Canaan Iaran smith I can find.
You can, if you're going to scour the city, you can find one eventually.
Okay. And I want to approach and, once I can tell, that this is a man of true IR and blood. Go up and say that I'm needing a fine suit of armor crafted, custom piece, full plate, to my dimensions, of course, and I'm willing to pay top dollar for something of true IR and make and design.
Well, I can get you measured out at least and start working on the design, but I won't take any coin from you until you're happy with the design.
Okay.
I'm pretty busy, so I'd come back in a few days.
For the measurements?
No, I can get the measurements, but I won't have
To
any.
look at the design.
I won't have any designs for it for a few days.
Okay. Let's get
I
measurements.
guess while we wait, we can go visit your oracle. Or do you want to?
How
get
long
your
of a
armor?
journey to see the oracle?
A
would
couple
be?
of days.
Okay, perfect. All right, we'll do that. So yeah, get measurements and then
Okay.
don't get to hang out in Sparta for too long.
So,
In Camus.
so this is your culture, eh?
Well, this is my people. In so much traditionally, Iaran culture is very individualistic. My city is further to the north here, and while the Canaans are exceptional warriors and great at building walls, their culture, I wouldn't quite say, is quite the same as mine. Similar bloodlines, but there's no city that's like Venus. It's very different than this.
Simple no would have been.
Well, it's not a simple no. That's why I had to explain.
It's a really complicated, no.
Whatever you say, Elf, as I walk out.
So you guys
Says the
are.
guy whose fucking culture is a bunch of squat little hairy men in sticks and mud.
I heard that.
I assume.
So you guys are heading north to Dione, eh?
Yes.
To some degrees, it looks like a halfway point between the 7,000 steps of the Throat of the World and a regular road. It's narrow, it's winding. There are places where it is sort of little better than a glorified staircase. The first day in particular is very good travel. It's a wide road. It's always a very well marked road. But the higher you head up into the mountains, the wilder it gets, the steeper it gets. There are lots of places where the road is sort of the only path up the mountain without climbing. And it will be near the evening of the second day that you will arrive at the town of Dione. It's big, a little big for a village, but it's hardly a city. It is unwalled. It's sort of nestled in this little craggy mountain valley with groves of trees kind of all around it. It is a very quiet place. There's not a lot of people moving around. There's not a lot of activity. And at the far end of it, and by far the biggest building here, is a is a temple with a steep peaked roof, deeply fluted columns, and like friezes and frescoes, just like carved all around the top edges of it, which presumably is where the oracle is.
If I were a gambling man, that's presumably where the oracle is.
I wouldn't take that bet. To the temple.
You guys are met at the door by an old priest with a long gray beard and black robes, who doesn't need to ask why you're here because it's pretty obvious. He kind of just motions for you to like set your weapons aside.
I immediately do. And all of them set them aside.
Give me a
You
minute.
respect the temple.
But he also doesn't like stand there and stare at you to make sure you do it.
Mhm.
He just like he seems to have an expectation that you understand that if you fuck with the Oracle of Apollo, Apollo is not gonna like that.
Like, disrespecting the temple alone, I'm like, that's like asking to get blasted by a sunbeam and just turn to ash. Like, you don't fuck with the gods. They're real. They live on a mountain over
But
there.
I'm Mandalorian. Weapons are part of my religion.
Yeah, I'm dropping them all immediately.
Okay.
knife everything.
I'll just leave everything with my horse then, I guess.
It is. The inside of this temple is opulent from many hundreds, if not thousands of years of substantial gifts to the oracle and to the temple. And it is eerily silent, at least in this entryway. It is... There's not people standing around talking. At the moment, you guys are the only ones there with this aged priest. And whether you all disarm or not, he sort of totters over to this set of double bronze doors, pushes them open, motions the three of you inside, into this room. It must be like it's like the main center of this temple. Is dominated by massive silk curtains, cushions, carpets, racks of scrolls, screens partitioning off sections of it. It's a huge, opulent room, but in a very obviously intentional and religious way. There's sort of a screen in front of you, kind of blocking off the rest of the room from view. And as soon as the three of you guys are in the room, this priest backs out of the room and closes the door behind himself, leaving the three of you standing in this eerily silent room.
That's it. He's robbing our horses.
I don't think...
We've come from
For a couple of priests, you really don't get, the religious respect thing at all.
Hey, my God's life and death God. You really think there's respect for this?
All of my gods are death gods if you piss them off. I assume yours are the same.
Yeah.
Step forward.
Okay.
And try and glance along the curtains. It's
Okay.
not sheer at all. You can't see through them, can you?
No, but the curtains are mostly on the sides.
Okay.
And there's a partition kind of hiding the rest of the room from view, but you can easily walk around the other side of it.
Okay.
There's a 15 or 20 foot gap on either side of it against the walls. It's just it just hides the rest of the room from view of the front entryway when the doors are open.
Okay. And kind of look back at the two of you and shrug.
You're the one who wanted to come here. You go first.
It's always the weird thing when different religions step into a room. It's kind of weird.
If we only get a couple questions each, maybe use yours to ask if our gods are the same gods. And then I turn and I walk through the curtain into the middle of the room.
I like the idea you say that and they go, no, they're not.
Sitting,
What was that?
sitting in a chair at a sort of big round table in the center of this room, which is sort of obviously as much living quarters as anything else, is a fairly young-looking woman wearing white robes sort of decorated with red, with a red blindfold across her eyes, holding a green sphere about 8 inches across. And the way...
God damn it, you son of a bitch!
There's full circle.
A portal rips open and Adrian jumps out of it, angry as hell.
And the way
Is
she...
Oh, is this the character that's...
No.
The way she looks up at you... The way she looks up at you when you all sort of round the edge of this would suggest that she can see you perfectly well.
Of course, she knows we're there. She knows what the future.
I am Tersius. I am not Hadrian.
Is this a character from your previous?
This is from a
Yes.
previous camp.
This character was
All-seeing
designed...
oracle lady.
Don't touch the
Shit.
orb.
Don't touch shit.
I put this character here entirely to get a reaction. A couple of players.
As soon as you're like, there's an oracle, I'm like, she's gonna be blind.
Well, no, it's he's like the oracle. I was like, that's probably some cool oracle thing. He's like, has a blindfold across. I'm like, oh, wait, red blindfold? Holding a spear. You son of a bitch! I'm Tersius. I'm not Hadrian.
And speaking of that, sort of as you appear, she says, Tersius, of the line of Arcturus, the demigod.
I will kind of drop to one knee and bow my head down, and then look back up and be like, I'm of the line Praxis. I don't know this I mean, do I know of a demigod? named
There, yeah,
Arcturus?
Arcturus was a hero.
Okay.
Way back in the day.
I am of the line Praxis. I am no demigod.
I didn't catch
Well,
it.
you may know. But that blood doesn't get completely watered down. And then Azim, touched by Anubis. Very few are.
I'm glad that's not completely frowned upon.
With his shadow always hovering over you, shall we say.
Yeah, something about that.
And then Wolf, the priest in exile. You are a very long way from home.
Yeah. What can you do?
What can you do indeed?
Well, in fact, as I kind of standing back up, that's sort of why we're here. We are seeking guidance on what we should do next.
So is like my shadow a curse, or what's the deal with this thing? I like point down at it and it can like high five my hand.
That's sweet.
I don't know.
Well, anyone you meet can be a friend or can be an ally.
Yeah, but is it a person? Is it the family member that died when I was younger?
It's as much you as you are. You just can't control it quite the same way.
Feels like
Maybe
I have a
it's their
split personality.
Maybe it's there to keep an eye on you.
By God,
He trips me a lot.
It's a prankster god.
Maybe he's not great at his job.
I know some of us aren't.
Came here for answers. Got really frustrated.
Sounds like bad
Yeah. So very true.
You want to punish the Empire for what it's done to your family. For what it's done to a lot of families.
I at the very least want to take back what it's taken from mine. Punishment would...
I think the important thing to consider, either way, the three of you are, for better or worse, setting out on a path that will change the world. The Empire may be corrupt. Some may well call it evil. What you need to decide is whether it's better to save the good parts of it and build something new, or to burn it down and build something better on its ashes. Either way, you'll find a lot of people willing to help and a lot of people willing to oppose you. She kind of like, still with one hand on the orb, kind of goes digging around under the edge of the table for a minute and starts setting these like pretty big leather-bound books, 3 of them on the table, and then passes one to each of you. They're completely blank inside. And
Let me guess, the story is yet to be written.
sure. And these will help to make sure that you're all fully aware of the story. Paint the same symbol, whatever you choose, on each of these 3. And whatever you write in one will appear in the other. Anything small, scrap of parchment or a folded map that you stick between its pages can be drawn out of either of the others. It should help you keep in touch.
Oh man, we're about to be splitting up.
Oh. Never had a pen pal before.
I guess give us a giant meme book.
She
No.
gave you a group chat.
Yeah, a giant meme book. No. Thank you, but I guess It's strange. I feel like I came here to ask you what I want. Because I'm having a hard time deciding that myself.
That, I don't think I can tell you. You all certainly have the power to accomplish great or terrible things should you decide to do so. There's lots of advice I can give, though some of it may not be useful, and some of it would create a lot more work for you, and I'm not sure that's what you want.
Can I just realize she is right now the only person outside of, well, relatively us, but to our group, that has any kind of magical anything that we've run into at this point.
Yeah, very much.
Magic is not a common thing. I've seen priests with little tricks, but the two of you and clearly the Oracle are something beyond that.
What I'll tell you is kind of dependent on what you think you're after. If you wish to follow in the footsteps of your famous ancestor, that's one direction. If you wish for a home to start your little rebellion, that can be another. Of course, those paths are not mutually exclusive either.
Do I know the story of Arcturus?
I mean, it's essentially just like a Greek hero, you know, sent on supposed to be a demigod, sent on a quest by the gods, slew a great monster.
Where was his weak spot?
And his dick.
Yeah.
Biggest.
And then all of our Savage Worlds characters showed up. He didn't stand a chance. Every Savage Worlds campaign we play, somebody gets stabbed.
The monster no hero can slay. PCs.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think if I don't know what this. So.
Save the Empire or destroy it. Something good can be built either way. Or something terrible.
Are you trying to free your homeland or create a new one?
I don't seek to bring an empire to ashes. I seek a free Ayara. A glorious Ayara back to what it was and what it still can be. But I fear that there is no way for Ayara to be free if an empire as such as the Curians exists. I guess what I'm saying is I don't think that even a free Ayara will stay free if the empire isn't close to ashes. At the very least torn to shreds. I don't necessarily seek to march to the capital and sit on a throne, but I certainly seek to make sure that they can't conquer my lands ever again. What is it that you two seek? For yourselves or your homelands?
Well, as this oracle has so eloquently pointed out, in exile. At what point? I guess my question to you is, where does Gaeltrim, the black hair, lie in this story?
He's certainly setting himself up to be the hero of his own tale. And he may well be. It's certainly true that the Curians don't take him seriously enough. They see him as a boogeyman, a specter. They claim he has no power south of the wall, and yet his agents truly are everywhere. Sooner or later, he will push the Curians off of that island entirely, or there won't be an island left for them to fight over.
Did he exile you?
It's a complicated story.
None but the clan chief has power to exile.
Let's just say being the subject of a death god doesn't warrant a lot of praise from my people.
Especially one where the god is active.
As much as I detest Giltrim, looks like the path's leading me back home. Can't very well let that be destroyed now, can I?
Could also be a glorious rise for your people to take their island back, but is that not worth it if Giltrim's at the head?
In my eyes, no. But I guess sacrifices must be made.
I would say I'm very conflicted with what to do, because with my God, my perspective on things, everything I've done in life has been leading up to a peaceful afterlife. Making the right choices in this world lead you to a better life after. But it seems like a lot of the good, or anything that I can offer in this world, I'm just now learning about. This magic that a very few people have that we've been able to do so much with. I'm interested in seeing how far I can take that. But the knowledge of this magic seems incredibly helpful to the world, because not a lot of people have this. But at the same time, I'm not so sure that I'm not moving farther away from how I was raised and what a peaceful afterlife actually is.
Does a peaceful afterlife require peaceful actions in this life?
No,
Or just
actions.
perhaps doing the right thing sometimes is bringing empires to ashes if they're wrong?
I think if Anubis was truly disappointed with you, you wouldn't have the powers you do.
that's true. Right now, I think my quest is knowledge, because, for lack of a better word, I think I'm lost. Not from Anubis, but from my path. And I don't know if I'm supposed to create my own path or if it's destiny. But before, we were given a loose path to follow, and it led to great things. Now it's kind of up in the air. And I've just being on a different continent, I've learned so many other things in a drastically different lifestyle, let alone there's entirely different gods that...
And clearly all of them work, judging by what the three of you are capable of.
Which seems partially blasphemous, but at the same time...
The gods are amusing beings.
Trying to keep it together. I'm trying to be Tersius right now. Trying to not let my Hadrian show.
Remember, don't touch the wind chime.
There are many people who would see the Empire burn. There are many people who would see it, like you, restored to its glory days. Restored to an old way of doing things. And there are plenty of people who would see the current balance of power change. There are plenty of people fighting for their freedom. There are some people who would gladly watch the whole world burn if it meant the Curian Empire suffered. The three of you have the power to decide who wins. It won't be easy. May not be clear, as you were hoping. But that is your decision to make. Head north into the mountains for a day. There's a small village there with a cave system nearby. The people in that cave are looking for something. What they're looking for is not there, and what they're about to find, they probably shouldn't have. Might be a good place to slow down one of those groups. The other thing you can do, you're a sailor. You're probably familiar with the ruins of Acrocaleta, on top of a cliff near Canis. At the base of those cliffs is a cave large enough for a ship. Pass through and see what lies beyond. Perhaps that would give you another point to start.
The way I see it, no good Iron tale begins with its heroes at the host of a great many soldiers. Begins with tales of great adventures, great quests, enemies and beasts slain, and then arriving at the head of an army as something of legend. Maybe that's our call. Maybe we go to this cave and see what's there. Maybe we find what lies on this island. Maybe we do both. But I think, for the time being, continuing to make names for ourselves will, at the very least, experiencing this world, learning, like you said, will give us the connections like we've made with Jalal that will eventually lead to making that decision and picking a side.
One more question. Are there others like us out there?
There's a lot more magic in the world than people think. Not everyone's truly learns to use it. A lot of people seem to think that magic used to exist. Powerful artifacts, even little magical oddities like those message tomes. The magic's still here. It's just less people using it than there used to be. Though, of course, there will always be people capable of it. You're not the only ones who get to decide the fate of the world. But you're certainly powerful enough to do so.
We have to get in the way of anyone who would make a different decision.
Yep.
That's not terrifying. Thinking about all the past terrible decisions I've made, I'm like, I have power to influence things now? That's terrifying.
I once killed a man because I could. That's out of character. That's not in character.
Wait, that's out of character?
That's even worse.
What's the giant catch? I shot a man in Rio just to watch him die.
Just to watch him die.
I sit in Folsom Prison.
Yep.
Hang my head and cry.
I guess checking out that cave would be something.
I mean, if nothing else, it's nearby, and
What's an extra day's travel?
an oracle of Apollo speaking, saying that a group of dangerous people are about to get in over their heads with something they shouldn't mess with. That sounds like something that an IR and hero would stop.
Yeah. Sure.
You see this, like, there's like this pride in Tersius where he's like, what if I'm fucking Hercules? Like, he's kind of this, like, he has this mindset going forward here, like, to do what I'm supposed to do, I have to be like an IR and hero of old. So they would go and they'd stop this from happening.
Yeah. And we'll just like.
Are there gods that won't like us because of our view in a different religion, basically?
I mean,
like, are we gonna be smited at some point?
Or smote.
Smitten.
Smitten.
I feel like is wrong.
They're smitten. Oh, I just love these three. They're so fun.
For the most part, I would avoid desecrating any temples.
Well, that's fine.
Apart from that, you should be alright.
That's great. I don't like doing that anyway.
Most of the gods have similar mindsets on what is right and what is wrong. The individuals may vary, but their overall view of the world is very much the same.
Right.
You'll make an enemy of, likely, you'll make an enemy of the evil ones, and an ally of the good ones.
Well, in my culture,
And sometimes it's not quite as simple as that.
in my culture, it's very hard to tell which gods are the evil ones and which ones are the good ones. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, it's the god of neutral.
That's why my god is literally life and death. Like
Yeah.
it's neutral.
It's both.
Yeah.
Alright. We at least have a heading. Somewhere to go next. And
We have our heading.
some decisions and things to chew on. Yeah. I think Tersius has clarification in so much as he has direction. The clarification is that he's come all this way only to learn that he was coming here to ask somebody else what he wants because he's not quite sure yet. And that's oddly deep and something he needs to kind of sort out.
I feel like
Wolf's just gotta come to terms with, despite the fact that he hates this guy, he may have to.
Is he the right answer for the North?
Yeah.
all three of us basically learned that we have to make the decision we do not want to make and follow through.
Mm-hmm.
You were at the very least smacked in the back. All three were pretty much smacked in the back of the head and told, sort out your own damn shit. Yo shit your own. You're the one who's got the answers.
Y'all matter. Now, do something with that.
Do something. I
Which
don't
is
want to.
It's terrifying.
I think that's a decent place to end this. I think this episode might have gone a little long.
A little
but,
bit crazy.
I think it's alright. I just really wanted to get up through the end of the Bavrula bit.
Mm-hmm.
This, I had a, congratulations, you guys have met one of the two NPCs that I created as side characters in this campaign, entirely to get reactions out of people at the table.
When you casually mentioned to me that my character would have knowledge of this oracle, I did not know so you could bamboozle me into sailing across the world
that basically bent us over
to
every
go meet
time.
goddamn Bavrula again.
I like Bavrula. Bavrula's such a cool NPC.
As a fellow
And you're the
DM,
one who gave her the orb that is the source of all magical power across all worlds, so
Yeah,
of
wait.
course she's just going to
way to
show
go.
up places.
Yeah, because if I touched it, I'd get turned to fucking dust.
I believe, actually, canonically, Hadrian did touch it once.
He did. He did touch it and survive.
Mm-hmm.
That is true. He didn't hold it, but he did touch it.
I am worried who the other one is.
There's so many choices, and none of them are good. I played one of those characters, and none of these others are good.
He doesn't kiss and tell.
I was creating a magic item, and I went, this is a super cool magic item. I want this. Like, I want to play a character who uses this magic item. I think it's really cool. And the name of it is such a great reference. Like, this is really wonderful. And I went, but it's so much better if this NPC is actually wearing it when they meet them. Like, that's going to be such a better reaction.
We gotta kill him. Take it off his back.
Yep.
Or her. Or there.
So, so I just made another NPC that is, I have no idea where they will come up, but at least this NPC was fairly set in stone where they were. But,
Mm.
Lots of questions and
lots of questions,
Lots of things to think
very
about.
few answers.
But that's a real outro, maybe? Otherwise, we'll keep rambling.
yeah.
Thank you everybody so much for watching. Another episode without any combat in it, but certainly progress was made.
Yep.
You guys have jumped ship to a whole new chunk of the map. You're big damn heroes in some parts of the world. If your name gets out, you'll be probably villains in other parts. And you have some guidance.
We've got some
I
direction.
guess we have to follow the freaking tail of goddamn Hercules here.
You've at least gotten some advice for better or worse. If you're interested in this kind of content, we have a lot of very similar stuff on the channel in a variety of systems, as well as a podcast and really technical breakdowns of Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition rules and a variety of stuff like that. So again, thank you all so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.